And then beyond that, if we don't have any others, we do have some guests online, specifically concerning the CDC recommendations. We could give them an opportunity to give some background information on their companies, and we could, because I don't, these are business owners, I don't want to take up too much of their time or ask them to come attend a different meeting. And then we could possibly have a special session with the group just to take the CDC. Would it be a special session? Yes. Just to consider the CDC recommendations for grants. If Wayne or Brian, you think that would be an appropriate protocol for today if you don't have a quorum?
Yeah, if you don't have a quorum, that would be appropriate.
Okay. Let's go ahead and call to order the meeting, and then hopefully we can have others join us as they become available. So I'll call to order the regular meeting of the Zionsville Redevelopment Commission for Monday, October 26th at 6:35. Electronic meeting via Zoom. This public meeting will be conducted pursuant to Governor Eric J. Holcomb's Executive Orders 20-02, 20-04, 20-08, and 20-26. And Governor Holcomb's exercise of his powers under Indiana's Emergency Management and Disaster Law, Indiana Code 10-14-3. Additional information regarding the meeting is provided in the annex published with this agenda. So thank you all. Let's go ahead and recognize the attendees that are online.
For those attendees that would like to be recognized, please raise your hand. We have Mr. John Towsley, Ms. Sally Zalonis, Lucas. Then we also have the grant applicants, Tracy Dole, Tom Castellini, and while it says Jacob Lukes, I believe it is Wendy Lukes is probably logged on.
Great. Let's go and start with reports, Wayne, if you don't mind.
Certainly. Just providing information as published in the report that's been posted to the website. The project 106 Bennett LLC just continued work through remodeling of tenant finish. Reindeer Properties, 5100 Charles Court. Again, remodel permit has been issued. AES Restaurants, a project that received development plan approval. We anticipate that project coming in for permits. I do know they've been through some level of state release already. Zionsville Medical Office Building, a project under construction at the corner of Bennett and 106th Street. Project is wrapping up, has their landscaping installed. RA Apartments looking to wrap up their project there on Octave Drive, Michigan Road. Blackacre Brewing still has their active permit related to the project that they're working on Main Street, South Main Street. Hotel Tango will be in front of the Plan Commission this coming month to talk about their project. There's been a permit amendment related to their outdoor space, but currently their project is underway. Trico Edition there on Mayflower Drive. Project is moving towards completion. Look forward to a ribbon cutting event, hopefully sometime here in November, related to your projects happening in 300 South TIF District. Appaloosa Crossing is moving forward with some projects in front of the Plan Commission, and certainly the other projects underway. We can discuss the marketing of Creekside, stormwater mitigation, the mowing and bush hogging, and then the CDC is looking to consider contracts here for 2021-2022 service related to snow removal and maintenance. And I will provide an update on Ken Ezra. He will be logging in shortly. And I'm happy to take any questions.
I have none. Thank you, Wayne, for that report. How about, that's all we can really do until we have a quorum, correct? Old business, new business.
Yes,
Okay.
that's correct.
Why don't Kent should be on, if you all don't mind, let's go ahead and jump over to new business and we can start with the CDC recommendations for grants and then Kent can jump in as we're going through some of these, some of the companies and their reasoning for the need for the grant money. So we can start with.
Mr. Patel, we did have someone just log in as a phone call. I don't know if that might be Mr. Ezra or even Ms. Swanson. How about if I would allow that individual to at least speak to identify themselves to see if it is one of the two?
That's great. So if you just dialed in by a phone, could you announce yourself, please?
Can you guys hear me? This is Kate Swanson.
Yes.
Very good. Yes, we can. Kate?
Thank you, Kate.
Okay, good. I'm driving, so I'll be on mute.
Okay. So are you able to move her over as a panelist, Roger? Maybe not because she didn't come in through the link.
Let me try that. Just one moment.
Yeah, sorry, guys. This is the only way I could get in. I had my daughter in the back seat trying to figure it out.
Kate, if you hold on one moment, I'll see if I can promote you.
Okay. Let's go ahead and start with, we can go back to old business and approval and adoption of minutes. September 28th, regular meeting.
This is Colleen. I've read the minutes and I move to approve.
Okay. We have a motion. Do we have a second? Kate's trying.
Oh, this is Kate. I second the minutes.
Thank you, Kate. We have a motion and a second. Roger, can you do roll call, please?
Absolutely. Mrs. Swanson?
Approve.
Mrs. Hiddle?
Yes, approved. Thank you.
Mr. Patel?
Yes, approved. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you all. So moving on to new business on the agenda. From the Community Development Corporation, we have recommendations for grants. We have 4 recommendations this evening, and I believe all 4 business owners are here to share with us their company and their needs. So Wayne, if Representative from Blooms from Dragonfly is available, can you allow them the floor?
I'm going to promote Wendy Lukes from Blooms by Dragonfly.
Okay, can everyone hear me and see me now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I wasn't sure how much you wanted me to present this evening. So I'll introduce myself. You guys can let me know. My name is Wendy Laux, and I own and operate Blooms by Dragonfly. I am located on Main Street, right on Brick Street, across from Brick Street Inn. And we've been in business for about 4.5 years now, operating as primarily a floral business, but we also have a fantastic retail location. So we have some retail options as well for our clients. We specialize in weddings, events, and then just the daily need for flowers. And I thank you very much for having me here this evening and really appreciate the opportunity to move forward with this. How much would you like me to present?
So you've requested amount is 20,000, and CDC forwarded a grant amount of 10,000. Can you share with us a little bit on your need?
Okay, so this year has been difficult for everyone, and I found that our primary need is to change the scope of our business. So we never had to close our doors per se. We did not have retail customers entering at early on, but we were able to still take phone calls. We could still take online orders and deliver beautiful flowers to people that still needed some love. So a lot of people were calling us, asking us, I can't see my mom this weekend, but could you send some flowers and leave them on her front porch? So we were able to kind of change how we did business so we could provide curbside as well as the deliveries, and stayed relatively busy throughout. But we've also seen some changes in terms of events and weddings. As you can imagine, most events went away completely. And then weddings, we've had a lot of weddings, but they're small, intimate affairs versus a large 250 person wedding as we had originally planned on throughout the year. So although we have had revenue for weddings, the revenue has gone down drastically, especially per wedding. We're down to at least half of what we were per wedding with our revenue. So I've made my request and basically looking with our deliveries, with that going up so quickly and so drastically. For Mother's Day, for example, we have twice as many this year as we did in previous years. My delivery vehicle is going through a lot more than I expected it to this year and had planned on. So that is something I'll need to plan to replace or to at least maintain and so forth much more quickly than I had planned. And then how to continue to change my business. What is going to be the wedding trend? What's going to be the retail trend? Just kind of how do I need to change my business?
Sure. Great, thank you. And I misspoke. The request was for 10,000 and the CDC's recommendation was also for 10,000.
Yes, and I assumed you would probably catch that, but
your other loan below here, so great.
Yes.
Anyone from the RDC have any questions for Wendy? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the grant for Blooms by Dragonfly in the amount of $10,000 per the CDC's recommendation.
So
Sanjay,
moved.
it's a second from me. Thank you, Kent.
Motion
Colleen.
in a second. Thank you. Roger, could you do a roll call, please?
Absolutely. Mr. Ezra,
Yes.
Ms. Swanson,
Yes, approved.
Ms. Hiddle,
Yes.
Mr. Patel.
Yes. Motion carries 4-0. Thank you. Congratulations, Wendy.
Thank you very much.
Good luck, Wendy.
Thank you.
All right. The next one, the order is Ms. Dull from Francis and Park. Roger, if you could
I
let
am
her in as I find.
promoting her. I believe she actually still may be out of state, but I believe, yeah, she's been able to join us.
Hi, can you hear me, see me?
We can hear you.
Okay.
Now we can see you.
Oh, good. Well, thank you, first of all, for allowing me to be here tonight and for all that you all do. My name is Tracy Dahl, and I own Francis Park on Main Street, 20 North Main Street, right next to Greek's Pizza, and close to Rosie's, which is a very good location for us. We've been here 2 years, and it's a men's and women's apparel store. It's primarily apparel, but it's brand names. And our goal when we started it is to, well, first of all, to have a men's store because that filled a niche in the community, but to a place where people don't have to go to the mall anymore, but they can find nice things locally. So we try to continue to do that even Now, I think it's even more important because a lot of people don't want to go to the mall. So we've all gone through COVID. My store did have to close for 6 to 8 weeks. And during that time, we created a website. So we do have a website going now. And and it's going well, but we do need to improve that. And while we're closed, everyone sees where their weaknesses are. And our biggest one is we've never had a formal marketing plan. And seeing how the community has been creative in bringing people downtown and even from far destinations to come in, we realized that we needed a strong marketing plan other than just being on social media and having my 20 somethings do that. So I've talked with Chandra Mundell of Mundell Marketing here in Zionsville, and she would be taking us through a professional marketing plan as an advisor. And then I'd also have someone on staff so that she can create it and come alongside us. So when she leaves, we can still be going forward well. And then my second item is I partnership. One of my products that we have here is with Restored Creation, which is a entity down at Wheeler Mission that women going through rehab are getting training skills. And one of them, we've worked with them to create tags for all of our gifts for this Christmas. So they create the flowers out of recycled material, and all of our boxes will have ribbons on them and our signage. So they did this for us, Francis Park on one side and Restored Creation on the other. And it's really well received in the community. And this does help them with their marketing skills as well. So that's been a great partnership with them. And then the third item on our list is just advertising in general. Our budget, that would be the first thing that came off it during COVID is we don't have a budget for marketing now. So we would want to be in the Current or Indianapolis Monthly or Brownsburg, Westfield Carmel to get into those areas for a marketing. So to have a specific plan for 2020, yet the holiday season, 3 to 4 spots in different newspaper, magazine, what have you. And then going into 2021, especially the slower months of the year, January through April, to get involved there as well. So
Great.
that's in a nutshell.
Great. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Any questions for Ms. Dahl from the RDC board?
Sanjay, this is Colleen. What was the total grant for this
I'm
applicant?
sorry. The requested amount was 6,000 and the CDC's recommendation was 6,000.
Okay, this is Colleen Hiddle. I move to approve that grant for $6,000.
Got a motion?
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Thank you both. Roger, can you do a roll call?
Yes, sir. Mr. Patel,
Yes, approved.
Mr. Ezra,
Yes.
Ms. Hiddle,
Yes.
Ms. Swanson,
Yes, approved.
Motion carries 4-0. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank
Good
you.
luck,
so-
Tracy.
Thank you, Colleen. I really appreciate you.
Absolutely. Okay. The next one we have on our list is the Village Antique Mall, located at 45 South Main Street. Their request was for $10,000 to the CDC. CDC recommended $7,500 for the RDC's consideration. Roger, I'm not sure I'm not sure who's here representing the mall, so I would ask
Mr.
that
Mike, yes, Mr. Mike Gokus is going to represent the mall. He's speaking on their behalf this evening. He presented the other day to the CDC and is speaking on their behalf again tonight.
Great, thank you.
Hi all. Yes, I'm here on behalf of Marina Bedell, who's the owner of the Village Antique Mall. She's a bit intimidated and uncomfortable with both technology and just the process.
We all are, Mike.
I know. The other day, I jokingly told him I had a jacket on for the first time in 9 months as part of the video. So it's a whole new world. My wife is a vendor at the antique mall, as is one of my neighbors, and so they kind of got on the radar through that approach, and they've known Marina for a while. She started the store actually in April of 2011, so it's been around for 9 years, and there are 51 current vendors in there. So it's an operation that doesn't just support one individual, but 51 additional individuals. So it felt like something that I wanted to help bring about. If of course I'm donating my time, I'm doing it just to help her out and the vendors that are there. The request kind of is broken down originally into 4 parts, but as part of the conversation before, one of those is more of a building as a whole request. So we've moved that request off, and kind of the 3 areas that the grant is focused on is, one was just the economic impact from being closed. They were closed fully for a month and partly for another half of a month, and then they've struggled to get customers back in that time. In addition to the loss of income from being closed, there are a number of vendors who just kind of closed shop or decided not to pay rent or couldn't afford to pay rent, and Marina didn't, she wasn't going to force them to pay rent when they couldn't. So she lost income from that, from both lack of sales where she gets a commission and then just the rent from vendors that are there. So that was one of the requests. The other is something that I think will help, both the store and its sales, but then also the community as a whole as well. Just if you recall, it's located across the street from Rosie's, and there's the sign that has deteriorated over the years, and they've tried to fix it, but it really needs a metal sign that's in better condition so that people know. A lot of times you can drive down the street and not even know there's an antique store there. So we have some quotes on an improved metal sign that will last much longer, and then it'll make the store look better for the main street, and then also just make people aware of what actually the store is, which will help the vendors. And then similarly, from a awareness standpoint, there's no website, there's no way to buy online and come in and pick it up. And obviously during the pandemic times, that's hugely important to be able to offer people an option. And hopefully the goal of being able to shop online and then come in and pick up still brings people into Zionsville. So that way it's not just, we're fulfilling and shipping out, but that they're fulfilling, coming to pick up, and then, experiencing the other stores or the other shops around the village. So those are the 3 main areas of the request. Would be economic income replacement, the improved sign and lighting, and even like the parking lot kind of restriping just to allow for handicap accessible vehicle, and then a website and marketing plan to get them kind of on the map. One of the things I had noticed if you Google Zionsville antiques, despite when people, if you've been around Zionsville, you think of antiques as part of Zionsville. If you Google it, you'll end up in Zionsville, Pennsylvania with the Village Antique Mall. So just getting, again, people looking for something to be able to find it, and then, hopefully again, draw people into Zionsville to help both Marina and the other vendors. So that's the request in a nutshell. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, great. So looking at the application, the CDC recommend that some of the components be, for example, the awning and the shingles would be considered a building owner responsibility. And that's why they reduced it by that $2,500.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. And that makes total sense. As we went through the process, that was something that the building itself is even broader than her shop, but she was like, oh, it'd be nice to have, but then there's a different process for that, which they were able to explain, which makes sense. We could go down the path of requesting assistance for the building, or having the building owner themselves kind of go through that process.
Okay, great. Any questions from the commission?
This is Kate. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Oh, I was just, not a question, but a comment. Mike, that's fascinating to know that there are 51 vendors in there. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah. Hey, Kate, it's great to hear your voice as well. Hope you're driving safely. And yeah,
I'm pulled over now, waiting for kids in swim practice, so I'm good.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I was intrigued by that number as well. And something, the store doesn't even look that big from the front, but it goes back deep and it has some there. And so it was kind of cool to see that there's that many people that are taking part of, are a part of the Village Antique Mall.
Great.
Definitely. Thank you.
No further questions. I'll entertain a motion to approve. Go ahead, Colleen.
This is Colleen. I move to approve the $7,500 grant for Village Antique Mall.
Great.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Roger, could we have a roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Mrs. Hiddle,
Yes, approved. Thank you.
Mrs. Swanson,
Approved.
Mr. Ezra,
Yes, approved.
Mr. Patel.
Yes, approved. Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mike, for helping Marina with this effort. I'm sure she appreciates it tremendously, and it's a good thing for our town.
Yeah, no, thank you all very, very much.
All right, so let me scroll through my list here. Okay, our final one for this evening, final recommendation from the CDC is for Cellini portraits. The request to the CDC was for $10,000, and their recommendation for the grant was for $10,000. They're located at 10.5 North Main Street, and I believe Mr. Castellini is with us this evening.
I'm in the process of promoting him.
Okay, there we are. I have a poor connection. Did you want me to just start?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Well, as you mentioned, I'm at 10.5 North Main Street. I'm a fine art portrait artist and an author. I've been in the village for 47 years. And COVID has really struck our business kind of hard. We average about 36 commercial assignments for the year, which we had scheduled. And the minute COVID came on, not unlike other artists or musicians, once those assignments are gone, they're gone for the entire year. In my portrait business, I generally average 84 portraits a year. And thus far this year, I've done 6. And within that, the printers that I use for my business, because I edit, proof, and print all of my own work, have now become paperweights, thanks to Epson, because they have discontinued the inks for my printers. So they are no longer functioning. And so there's a need for new printers. And also within this, I have a book that I've been working on for the last 5 years that is ready to go public. And we had events scheduled in May to participate in Gay Pride Month. And also we tried to do a virtual or a launch in September. And once again, COVID squelched that because of just the lack of people wanting to gather. And so we've had to go to a virtual launch. And within that, we've had a videographer that has created a video for it. And we've have to build a website and social media for it. And along with pushing the website and building a better website and also social media for Castellini Portraits. And the title of the book is The Queerness Doesn't Matter. And within the website and all the social media and within Castellini Portraits, those two things dovetail to one another. They each depends on where you are in social media. They both feed off of one another, all bringing it back to us. And so the ask was for basically about how we would use this in 5 different ways. One would be to help offset some of the expense of new printers, help offset the cost of the videographer, and website for the Queerness Doesn't Matter book, and social media for the book launch, and also social media assistance with Castellini Portraits. So that's pretty much where it's going to go and how it's going to be used, if granted.
Great.
Any questions from you young men and ladies?
Any questions for Mr. Castellini?
This is Kate. I just have to say, I got to see, I guess, was it a preview, Tom, or an
Yes.
advanced copy of the book? And it is phenomenal. I can't wait for everybody to see it. It's a pretty amazing book that Tom has put together.
Thank you, Kate. I appreciate that.
Tom, this is Colleen. Thank you for being 4 decades in Zionsville. That's amazing.
Oh, thank you, Colleen.
This is Colleen. I moved to approve the requested grant for Castellini Photography.
I'll second.
And you beat me to it, Ken.
We have a motion and a second. Thank you both, all three actually. Roger, could you do a roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Mr. Patel,
Yes.
Mr. Ezra,
Yes.
Mrs. Swanson,
Yes.
Ms. Hiddle,
Yes.
Great. Motion carries for Castellini Portraits for the CDC's recommendation for a $10,000 grant.
I'd like to thank you all very much, and the community appreciates the opportunity.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you. Ciao, ciao. Enjoy your evening. It's cocktail time.
Agreed. Not quite yet.
Yeah. Ciao, ciao.
All right. Well, thank you all. Those are all very compelling stories, and the difficulties that all businesses, but businesses in our village that have had throughout this year, and the opportunity for the RDC and the CDC to assist is really meaningful dollars for their continued business efforts. So thank you all. Under new business, we have Creekside Corporate Park, lots 10 and 11. Wayne, if you can give us an update on that, please.
Yes, happy to share this. We have no information in terms of anything that's been distributed to you. There's no information posted to the website. This is simply a discussion. This group would recall a few months back, you had these parcels tied up by an entity, and ultimately that project did go away. That project simply didn't take shape. The entity that had tied up the parcels is looking at another chase, if you will, another opportunity to work towards a project to land in Zionsville. So they again are proposing to tie up lots 10 and 11. I do not have all the figures for you, but this is another sizable office building that would look to locate on lots 10 and 11. At least that's what we would be proposing for a potential chase, if you will. But this is a discussion again for this evening. Brian, Chris, don't know what other information you have or any sort of structure around this. If we would entertain the concept of entering into another term sheet again, or if there's a different instrument to think about, but the floor is yours to take it from here.
Thanks, Wayne. Yeah, so I've also had some discussions with the principals of the group that's pursuing this opportunity. They don't need to tie up the land per se, in the sense that they require some sort of binding agreement from the Redevelopment Commission, which obviously would require that we would comply with state statutes with respect, to that type of disposition. But they are, they may, depending on the information that's provided, and then if this opportunity moves forward, they may need to move quickly with respect to having a term sheet that at least demonstrates some sort of interest from the RDC, which may include a 90-day exclusive negotiating period. So you wouldn't be tying the land up in terms of executing a binding agreement to where they actually have the right to purchase. You would just, the RDC would just be committing itself to not negotiating with another party for a set period of time. So if you want to discuss the opportunity now, we can, and then I can discuss some of your options on how to handle this, how options to handle this opportunity over the next 30 days, or, I can just tell you what your options are.
Go ahead and give us some options, Brian.
Okay. Well, certainly one option would be to negotiate a term sheet with some sort of exclusivity period over the next 30 days. And then, we could bring the term sheet back to the RDC for consideration and a vote, and then perhaps a signature. Now, whether this is real or not, time deadlines on real estate development projects are notoriously squishy, but I do believe that this opportunity, from the way it sounds, might move quicker. And so the development team might need a quicker decision than waiting till the next meeting. So one option would be to sort of pre-approve a term sheet with respect to the exclusivity, but reserving the right to negotiate a final agreement that would address all the economics and other factors that would be important to the RDC before deciding to move forward with respect to those lots. So you could do that as well. Again, you're not actually agreeing to convey any sort of interest in real property. You just merely prospectively be giving someone on the RDC, either Sanjay or Kent or anyone else on the RDC, the ability, if the project initially checks out, to giving the development team an exclusivity period for negotiations. So those are really your two options.
Any questions for Brian or recommendations on how you all would consider moving forward?
I guess my question would be for Wayne, I think. Wayne, this is something that the town wants to pursue, correct?
Well, certainly, this is a sizable office building that we've been tracking this project for about 6 to 8 months. So this is something that's coming around that we thought would be in the marketplace, and you're correct. And so we look to heighten our chances.
So I guess I would suggest, Sanjay, that we kind of go with what Brian thinks is best for the RDC and what puts the town and the RDC in the best position.
Agree.
Okay. I think under the circumstances, I do think there is smoke to this fire from what I understand about the opportunity, particularly because there's a bidding process in order to get, to land this, to have a realistic shot at landing this opportunity. The development team is going to need, at least some sort of exclusivity period, even if all the economics, of the transaction are not worked out. So I think a term, if you want to delegate, the RDC wants to delegate to, one or two members of the RDC to at least, review and conduct some initial due diligence and determine whether it's worth, taking lots 10 and 11 off the market for 60 to 90 days. That's what I would suggest.
I would move forward with that, Sanjay.
Okay. So this is a motion to allow myself or Kent to sign a term sheet, execute a term sheet with the potential developer for lots 10 and 11, and to lock them down for a period of time. Correct?
Yeah, and to be clear, the term sheet would not commit the RDC to doing a deal, so to speak, with the development group or with the end user. The only binding portion of it would be is just for a period of 60 to 90 days, whatever the negotiated period is, that the RDC in the town would not talk to other end users.
Right.
So,
This is
no
Colleen.
problem.
I second the motion to have Sanjay and Kent work with this potential tenant in 10 and 11.
Okay, great. Thank you, Colleen. Have a motion and a second. Roger, if you could do a roll call.
Yes, and just a point of clarification, who made the motion?
I think I did.
All right, thank you. So, Mr. Ezra,
Yes.
Mrs. Swanson,
Yes, approve.
Ms. Hiddle,
Yes.
Mr. Patel.
Yes. Motion carries 4-0. Thank you all. All right, moving down the agenda. Any other business, Wayne or Roger or anyone from the commission?
I do have 3 quick items for you. First off, just to speak to your annual report. It's something that you handle annually. Typically, this is something we've handled in September. This year has been a little different, and in case anybody's missed out on that, and that has caused some delay in our processes, but we do anticipate having an annual report to present to you. That would be a combination of Crow as well as our office of providing you that information. So just stay tuned for that. Speaking of items that are of interest, certainly tonight you heard 4 additional grant requests. Your 2020 line item for your economic development incentives is growing thin. So just we'll be keeping an eye on that as we move projects forward. And certainly if there's a need if we see a need to potentially reappropriate some funds, we'll talk to you about that opportunity first before any actions are taken. But again, just throwing a marker out there that lots of good things happening. The third topic for you is Lot 14 wetlands. So you may recall just a few months back, we entertained a contract with Christopher Burke to mitigate wetlands on Lot 14. This is a 1/10 of an acre wetland. We've worked through that. We did in rapid speed secure that sign off. This is related to your Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan project. However, the one issue, if you will, with that work, we got a super good price for Christopher Burke to help us with that, and there was additional work that was necessary. We've secured the permit. Everything is done, but they went ahead and took care of all that, recognizing some risk here. But the project itself, their efforts ran up the cost additional $2,500. We're a bit disappointed that the prices ran up so much. We were aware there would be some increase, but not an amount that would nearly double the contractual expense. Sanjay can speak to this. We did talk about on the phone call just what the original numbers were and the effort that was going to be necessary. But again, this is a project that is complete, but permits are secured. But the additional funding that Christopher Burke is requesting for their effort is $2,500. So those are just those 3 items for you, just briefly, and we can present this as a formal agenda item next month if the group is looking to chew on this a little bit more.
And just some additional information to follow up with Wayne. I did take a look at that Christopher Burke report. They did a good job in the speed. They were able to acquire the permit and clear that area for the Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan project was swift. So I appreciate them doing that. We have some experience, my firm has some experience on this type of work, and I do believe their overall fee, the total fee, is reasonable and appropriate. So I would approve the additional cost that Christopher Burke incurred in completing the permit and obtaining the clearance for development in that area.
Do we need a motion to approve that, or was that a motion, Sanjay? I'm sorry.
I don't believe we need a motion, but I just wanted to share my view in terms of the service we received and the price, the ultimate price that it ended up.
Sanjay, this is Colleen. I appreciate your validation there. And I think we have worked with them in the past, right, with good outcome. And I think that's an important point here as well.
So do we need to vote to approve the expense, or where does this stand?
I would suggest that. I mean, you have an original contract amount that was approved by this body. This would be a contractual amendment for $2,500.
Well, this is Kate. I'll make a motion to approve that additional amount for Christopher Burke.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Roger, could you do a roll call, please?
Sir. Settle.
Yes.
Ms. Swanson,
Yes.
Mr. Ezra,
Yes.
Mr. Patel,
Yes. Okay. Motion carries 4-0. Thank you. I think I went out of turn earlier.
Yeah, I think that's okay. This is Colleen. It's a yes for me too, just in case.
All right. Anything else, Wayne? Thank you for that, Wayne.
I have a question for Wayne. This is Kate. On the annual report, since I guess this is my first year, my question is that a financial report for the year mostly? And then the second part of the question is, how is the budget for the RDC created? Has that already been done for the next year in 21? What's that process?
So two different topics, but yes, the annual report will be providing information related to future efforts of the RDC based upon your projected budget expenses, certainly the activity in your other TIF districts and how that is contributing to the bigger picture. As far as the specifics of your budget, that is something that the town's financial officer and the town's fiscal consultant is working on currently. It follows a little bit different track than your budget that you're seeing discussed by the town council. Certainly the slowdown, if you will, in the identification of tax revenues coming in has slowed down our abilities to present this information to you. Certainly, we would like to normally have presented this information to you already, but that's two different questions you asked. Hopefully, I've covered that adequately.
So when they present the budget to us, it's just a quick vote and approval of, or is it just presented to us? Does the RDC have to vote on that?
No, the RDC wouldn't technically vote on that. It would be definitely presented. In years past, it's been voted on, but I think in purposes of transparency, this group as well as the town council will work on that document in tandem with the town's fiscal officer and fiscal consultant assisting. The budget itself this year, we will have to see what 2021 looks like in terms of tax revenue, especially with your debt service going forward.
Okay, thanks. Just curious. That helps a lot. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Roger, do we have anyone in the audience that has a desire to speak or have any questions? I don't see any hands up.
We'll give them just a moment if they'd like to raise their hand. I see no hands raised.
Okay, great.
Sanjay, it's Colleen. I move to adjourn.
Thank you. Motion is
second.
Thank you all. Have a good evening.
All right, thanks.
Good night.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.